absolutely astonishing. Wow, what a demonstration of running. What a race, Stephen. Yes, indeed.
Tulifanya sport hii ambayo ilikuwa kwa resafa hapo kwetu. Ilikuwa kwa mchezo ya mwaka. Nikawa mtu ambaye napenda sports. Nilikuwa napenda. Nilipoletea mama Blengezi, nasema shukuru, nimeshukuru. Tukaingia sasa Olympic 1964. Wewe tu namna sport na watu ni wengi. Nataka kuangalia wewe. Lakini nilijaribu. Nikawa na bwana the first hit. Ya pili, the following day, nikachukua. Nikawa na bwana. Kipchoge ikapigwa kumbu. Ako kaulu kwenye final. Sasa nikawa sasa nilisukuma mimi mpaka mimi nakuja namba ya 3 kwa kule Olympic. Nilikuwa na furaha sana nilipopata medali hiyo ya kwanza. Niseme ni ya kwanza, ndio ya kwanza wa Afrika mzima.
In 1964, we had the Olympic Games in Tokyo, and I went to represent the country in Tokyo. But I didn't win the medal. I was 4th. I didn't know the other men went through, and I missed bronze or silver, very, very close. Well, in 1968, we had Olympic in Mexico. And in Mexico, I was told by the doctor not to run. But I said to the doctor, I was a team captain of the Kenya team. I told the doctor, listen, I came here to run. If anything happened, I don't care, let me run. So I did run. I could not finish the 10,000 meters, I collapsed, but Naftali Temu won. Then 5,000 meters I finished, I went to silver. 1,500 meters I won with about 20 meters ahead of the other people. I won a gold. In 1972, we had Olympic Games in Germany, Munich. And although I represent the country in 3,000 meters steeplechase and 1,500, I won a gold in 1,500. In the 3,000 meters, I came home with a silver in the 1,500 meters.
1964 nilikuwa Tokyo. Nilianza kukimbia mimi mtu wa kwanza kukimbia steeplechase. Hiyo mchezo ilikuwa mkeni. 1968 Wakenya ilikuwa imeongezeka. Tulikuwa na kina Kipchoge na mimi ni Bengogo na Naftali Temu, marehemu Mugisi. Tulikuwa na Kiprogot, Wilson Kiprogot. Iko anakaa banda Kericho. Hivi hata Jipcho ilikuwa marehemu tena. Tulikuwa naye pamoja.
Nilishiriki katika mchezo ya mita 3,000 ya kuruka maji katika mji wa Mexico 1968, na nikashinda dhahabu. Timu yetu ya Nandi alikuwa amekosa mtu mmoja ya kushiriki katika steeplechase. Sasa nilipomaliza maili 3 kapumzika kidogo, nikaomba nijaribu. Nikajaribu, nikashinda. Ndio nikaenda national. Tukaenda Nyeri. Kutoka Nyeri tukaenda Dar es Salaam. Ndio nikaqualify. Nikaingia Mexico, nikashinda dhahabu. Munich nikafika final, nikashindwa na Kipchoge na Benjipkyo.
My running every morning, I did not know that I was actually, doing, or it was helping me to train. And I happened to be covering almost 11 kilometers to and from, which was 22 kilometers. When you are so young, running was just for fun. I had actually been nominated in 1968 when I was in a very tender age. In fact, I was one of the youngest at that time, and we were 3 of us. It was me and Lydia Stephen and Elizabeth Jesre. When we went for the Olympic Games in 1968, especially me generally, my excitement was to get in that plane and to be in a group of different colors of people. I managed to go to the second round, and that was good enough to me, and I was excited, and that was it.
I was one of the youngest children who could slide from the family and go and run, and then I will come with a present. I could not miss school even if I am sick because I wanted to run and get something. So in 1968, the months which were taken, we selected to be one of the Olympic girls. We were 3 of us. I was with a lady known as Tegla Jemabwai, Lydia Stephen, and I, Elizabeth, being among them. And I was taking 800 meters, of which we ran. When we were there, we came back. At this young age, Kenyatta, Mr. Honorable Kenyatta, looked at us and said, what kind of job can I give you as young as you are, 15 years old? He told me to go back, finish education wherever you will end it with, but I will pay school fees for you.
1968 ndio tuliingia Olympic ya kwanza. Tulikimbia Mexico City. 200 niliingia quarter final kumalizia hapo. 100 meters nilienda mpaka quarter pia naye kaishia hapo, lakini lile wakati tulikimbia lile tulikuwa namba 2. 1972 tulikimbia German 400 niliingia final, kawa namba 4 kwa final. Tukaja tukakimbia lile, tukashinda lile, tukiwa mimi, Sekia, Robert Youko na Julius Sang. Sasa tukakimbia hiyo, tukachukua gold medal.
Sasa hiyo 1972 unajua tulikuwa tunakimbia ya kivu kufa, kwa sababu Mexico tulipata silver. Sasa hiyo tunaenda gold, na Mwanasati alianza akanipa, ukimaliza namna hii wewe yaani huwezi kusimama, unakaa kama mtu ambaye alafu akanipa na mimi nikaja na nani huko naye akaja. Sasa tunakamatana mimi na Sati na huko. Sasa tunakuja mtu anapiga sisi na tukua you Kenya look. Unajua kizungu hakuna. Kupata ile mzungu ni mtu ametoka Amerika na Britain na nchi zingine unakuta mzungu lakini no mimi English no. Sasa kuangalia na mimi tunakuta Sangi wapi iko mbele na kuja namna hii. Tunaambia maji iko mtu anatoka nyuma na mkasa mbaya sana. Hivi mpaka nakamaliza. Tukapata goal hapo. Tukaja na goal mpaka hapo.
Kwa majina mimi naitwa Fatwell Kimayo. Mimi nilikuwa mkimbiaji ya zamani kwa trial ya Olympic 1972. Na nika qualify kwa 400 meters hurdles. Tukaenda Munich. Wakati nilipoenda Munich nikakimbia 400 meters hurdles. First hit nilikuwa namba 4, so qualify. Tukajiprepare for the Commonwealth Games 1974 in Christchurch, New Zealand. Sasa nilikuwa nikienda kwa 100 meters hurdles na 400 meters hurdles. Tukaanza na 100 meters hurdles. Tukafanya hits and then finals. Finals nika win gold medals. Nikashinda kijana ngine ilikuwa inaitwa Price, ilikuwa ya Wales. Hii ilikuwa Commonwealth champion. Nikashinda yeye. Alafu tukaenda 400 meters hurdles. The next day nikaingia mpaka finals. Nilikuwa namba 4 kwa finals. Nikafuata Koskei, Bill Koskei ya Kenya ilikuwa namba 3. 1978 tulikuwa na wakina Kipchoge, tulikuwa wakina Amos Piwot, tulikuwa na wakina huyu Sang, mkimbiaji, tulikuwa na wakina Max Boyd Professor, tulikuwa naye, na tulikuwa na wakina huyu bibi ya Amos Piwot Chirono, na wakina Tekla Sang Chemabwa, tulikuwa pamoja.
I started athletics when I was in primary school. That was back in 1982. Then later I joined Fela Sports Club in Italy, and that's where I developed all this running talent. The first international competition I took part in was in 1990. I was in Form 4, but it was World Junior Athletics Championships in Plovdiv, Bulgaria. I finished in semi-final. The overall ranking was 11th position then. I only participated in one major athletics competition, that was Indian Invitational. Surprisingly, I did better. I ran a 44.89, I remember very well. And then that changed everything. The following year I went to Olympic Games. Before Olympic Games, I went to All Africa Games in Mauritius. I came second. Then we came for trial here. I won the trial. We went to Olympic Games. I ended up in semi-finals, and we were in the relay together. Unfortunately, one of our colleagues, when we were doing the relays final, Matilu dropped the baton, not intentionally. He was knocked off by American, I remember very well, Quincy Watts, who had won the Olympic Games. So they favored the big boys. Then we had another day, that is now 1993 World Championships. I got 8th in the finals, the straight 400 meters finals. And the relay, now we got 2nd. We pushed the Americans to the finals. My total athletics career time should be around, in sprints, should be around 13 years put together. I won Kenya National Trials 6 times, Africa Championships 3 times, All Africa Games once, Commonwealth Games, I was in the final 2 times.
We've also had Henry Rono. Henry Rono, you know, he broke 4 world records within 80 days. 3,000 meters flat, 3,000 meters steeplechase, 5,000 and 10,000. Henry Rono has broken 4 world records. The most unfortunate guy that he could have done very well in 1980 Olympics and the 1976 Olympics. That is the guy I want to believe, and 1984 he could have been a marvelous guy.
My name is John Goge. Nimekuwa former 5-time world cross country champion, Olympic gold medalist, Commonwealth silver medalist, All African Game Kasarani. Kwanza mimi nilipata hiyo chance ya kuanzisha hiyo mwenge wa amani ile 1887, na ikawa wakati nilienda kuhakisha hiyo mwenge wa amani, President Moi akaniambia vile umehakisha mwenge wa amani ningetaka ulete gold. Sasa mimi sikuwa na rara, nilikuwa naona sasa hiyo gold nitaweza kuleta namna, lakini kwa majaribio ya Mwenyezi Mungu nilipata gold. Na wakati nilipata gold, nilipata rais akanialika kwa State House na kawa tukakula pamoja, na ikawa ni sherehe kubwa sana na ilikuwa maajabu kwangu. Tulikuwa na Julius Kariuki was together in Olympic 1988, Douglas wa Keihuri, Peter Rono, na marehemu na Punyi Wangira na Ereng na Paulo Ereng. Unajua ukichezewa nini wimbo ya taifa, you feel very proud. Na unajua mimi nimechezewa karibu mara 10.
In 1987, I won the first gold medal for Kenya in the World Championship in Rome in Italy. I continued with my training in Japan. 1988, I won a silver medal in Korea Olympics. It was also the first Olympic marathon medal for Kenya. 1989, I won London Marathon. I was the first Kenyan to win London Marathon. 1990, I won the Commonwealth Games in New Zealand. It was the first marathon medal for the Commonwealth Games. The same year, 1990, I won New York Marathon. And 1995, I won the World Cup marathon in Athens, Greece. We now have a challenge that we have reached the ceiling of the marathon. As a country, we need to think what's next. And we need to start growing the next generation of athletes. We need to invest on science and technology, and we need to improve our sporting facilities. If you look at in the span of 20 years, is when we bring up the new crop of our new athletes. So 68, give 20 years. That is 1988, when we came up. So 1988 up to 2008 is another crop of Kina Wanjiru who came up. So it means we are spending a longer time before we bring the new generation of athletes. That needs to shorten into like 4 years, so that every 4 years we are producing very good runners.
88, nobody was expecting Mr. Kariuki to win a medal. I remember even the reporters when they are running, they were surprised to see Julius running. But I knew because I watched the Panetta horse at the running, and before then I had broken the 2000 world record. So I knew I was very strong, and even the trials, I ran a very good race in trials here in Kenya. So I knew I was ready, but nobody could expect. So I just hung in with the Panetta. That's why you see in my race I was either 4-3, 4-3-4. I could not go beyond that. So when Panetta got on tired, I started about 600 meters to go. That's when the time is running, and I knew nobody can touch me because I was very strong and I was hungry for the medal. So the little money I was getting, I was trying to use it. I've come from a very poverty area, so when I get something, I used to put my because I knew I wanted to have good life. My kids can get education very well, and me, when I retire, to stay very well. So I've tried to invest here and there. I have a chemist, I have a hospital, I have residential houses, and have a farm. So, and I'm very comfortable. My kids have gone to school, all of them. So I feel very comfortable, and just to say thanks to God.
I started my athletics career back in 1994. When I went to high school, that was between 1991 and 1993, I just went up to provincial level. If we go back to the history, how women marathoning started, you can see it that there was kind of discrimination because none of the men believed that a woman can be able to accomplish a full marathon. When you look at now, the time Tekla used to run, I think there were only 4 of them or 5 of them. It's marathon in Kenya by that time. It wasn't competitive. So I owe so much respect to those pioneers who found the courage to do the marathon. And also, we followed their steps. We kept on improving the time. First of all, being started by Tekla, it's like a relay. Then she handed the baton to myself. Then I handed the baton to Mary Kitani. And then Mary Kitani has handed it over to Jocelyn. And also, we have now the rest, the young generation who are coming up.
When I joined the military, this is where I decided, I discovered that I had such a huge talent, which propelled me to be one of the top athletes in the country. Kipchoge Keino played a major role to some of us as a role model. And even me, I was looking maybe to emulate him at one point. Little did I know that would come to pass. The dream of every sportsman is actually to represent the country, and more importantly is to be at that apex to represent your country in Olympics. Olympics is once in 4 years, and I was lucky. Personally, I was very lucky that I had been able to represent the country in 3 Olympics. If it was not because of athletics, I could not be whom I am today. Over 20 years at the top, competing at the top level was not easy. I've achieved this a lot. Sports as through athletics gave me so much. Even when I'm sleeping, I could even think, I say, is it me? And I knew sports is a small window and it's going to close. in terms of balancing sports and life should come hand in hand together, so that one can be able to be all-rounder at any given level.
We did not have any field to train in. We used to go to the city stadium, and you can see the condition of that city stadium was in a very pathetic situation. I petitioned the president that we wanted to build the stadium, which was in Nairobi West, was known as Athletics Field. And I said, sir, I'll make a request that you give us the money that we would have used in the 2 Olympics, if it can be given to us to be able to develop an athletics stadium. He was sold the idea, and he said, yes, why not? Because he also loved athletics. He used to attend the athletics. So I went to President Moi, and he asked me, first of all, to invite him to grace the occasion of an annual athletics championships in Kakamega. That's how we started doing that perimeter fencing first. Then we put up the current VIP stand. We didn't have enough money to complete. On the eastern side, on the southern side, on the western side, we put the earth embankment because we didn't have the money. The second opportunity arrived when we were doing 20th anniversary celebrations. Again, I went back to the president, and he said, can we complete this stadium and put a tartan track? He said, why not? The stadium would be called Nyayo Stadium, because we were following the Nyayos, the footsteps of our president.
The federation started, of course, in 1950, and that is why we are talking about 70 years now, because we are in 2020. In 1950, Sir Derek Eskin, who was a businessman in this country, started this federation as Kenya Amateur Athletics Association, and drafted the first constitution in 1951 and forwarded it to IAAF. At that time it used to be called International Amateur Athletics Association, for approval. That was approved, and that is how this federation started now operating and sending teams to international competitions. The government at one stage started a program to assist these old generation athletes by giving them at least 300,000 shillings at a go, and 5 per year. We are therefore thinking of looking at what else can we do as athletics to support the athletes. They never used to earn anything when they run, when they win. And so some of them were not employed in any way. And so when they retired, they went back to the village. And you see, after earning a very big name in the world of athletics and within the country, and then you don't have anything, you're not earning anything, it becomes a very big challenge when you are sitting in the village, with maybe those days a young family, which is now, a big family. And so we need to think about their welfare. And one of the things that we are looking at is to see how we can start a pension scheme for them. A pension scheme that will also cover a medical insurance. Then we have to fundraise for them. And so we'll be going out to well-wishers, to the government, to our partners even abroad, globally, to see how we can fundraise and put something into that kitty for their pension and for their medical cover.
The reason why we chose to work with Athletics Kenya is because we were looking for a federation that was structured and was working well, especially at the time. And one of the key factors that we looked at was what is their grounding factor. And for us, it was someone who would put the needs of the athletes first, and someone who would put the sport in the limelight. So they have worked very well with us. The team that is there in place, we have had one of the best performing teams throughout in the last 5 years in terms of even cross-country. So it has been a partnership that has worked very well for us.
From our point of view, Athletics Kenya has been very professionally run. For us, that is critical. Safaricom has been able to support and sponsor a number of athletics events. We've been involved in the marathon, the international marathon in Mombasa. We've been involved in the Mazda Madoka half marathon in Taita Taveta. We've also been involved in a number of road races. The whole idea over this period has actually been, one, to be able to identify talent and give them that stage, to be able to showcase their talent, but also to have exposure to coaches, exposure to agents, and so on.
I'm delighted to have this chance to join you as you celebrate the 70th anniversary of Athletics Kenya. As a federation, you have made an indelible, an incredible mark on the history of our sport and a huge contribution to the development of our sport. Your history is our global history. Kenya is not just a prominent country in the world of athletics, it is a powerhouse, the #2 ranked nation in the world behind the United States with 151 medals in the 37-year history of the World Athletics Championships and another 96 Olympic medals out of the 103 Kenya has won in total in all Olympic sports. Under the current leadership of my great friend Jackson Tuwei, only the 8th president that Athletics Kenya has had since 1950, Kenya continues to be one of the most vibrant federations as evidenced by Athletics Kenya's nomination amongst the 6 federations considered for our new member federations award this year at our Global Awards ceremony. Kenya's contribution to the development of our sport has come in many forms. It has produced some of the greatest athletes in the history of athletics, starting from the first ever Olympic medalist for Kenya back in 1964 in Tokyo, the 800-meter runner Wilson Kiprugat, bronze medalist, and continuing with the likes of Rudisha, Kipchoge, Vivian Cheruiyot, Paul Tergat, and Tegla Laroup, and a dozen other athletes who have all become powerful role models for succeeding generations. And it has organized some of our most successful world championships, including the 2017 World Under-18 Championships in Nairobi, and of course the 2007 World Cross Country Championships in Mombasa. And there is one more to come next year, as Nairobi will host the 2021 World Under-20 Championships and a Continental Gold Meeting for the 2nd year, a really important landmark for African athletics. My dear Jackson, my dear Kenyan friends, you know how important a role Kenya athletics and athletes have played in my own athletics career as inspiration and support, and I'm equally grateful for your support during my time as your president. Our entire sport owes you our thanks for your immense contribution over the last 70 years, and I wish you equal success over the next 70 years.
I would like to wish AK a happy 70th anniversary.
I want to take this opportunity to wish Athletics Kenya
happy 70th anniversary.
First of all, congratulations. This is a big milestone.
From the Standard Group, we wish you well. We wish you a happy anniversary.
Ningependa kuwish Athletics Kenya happy anniversary 70 years na wakimbiaji wote.
And we hope in the next 30 years, by the time we celebrate 100 years, we'll have made milestones.
They need to go beyond the 70 years. We hope to partner with them even as we travel together to QK, going beyond.
Na wish Merry Christmas and Happy New Year 2021.